Stevenson King Jr. Did show his hands, but did not unlock the car or open it. And as he was finishing essentially a three-point turn to drive away, Mr. O'Malley fired 3 shots into the driver window and door.
Nick O'Malley did his job that night with his partner. Make no mistake about it. He was treated differently because he's a police officer.
We look forward to a jury hearing about a violent carjacker who punched a mother in the face.
All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by, answering the call, the official podcast of the BPPA. My name is Jamie Kenneally. As always, along with President Larry Calderone. Larry, what's good, my friend?
Hey, Jamie, thanks for having me on. What's good? I don't know at the moment. I'm a little cranky, so probably nothing good at the moment.
So the sound off the top was only going to make you crankier, Larry, because for folks who just listened, that was Public Enemy number 1, Ian Pallenbaum, ADA for District Attorney Kevin Hayden, followed by a clip from you and a clip from Attorney Yannetti, who's representing Nick O'Malley. But, I mean, my God, dude, really? The suspect in the case with Nick was just performing a 3-point turn. Nothing to see here. He was just trying to perform a 3-point turn. Give me a break, dude.
Well, that's what irritates everybody, and that's why, I stood out in front of the courtroom, and I make sure that everybody knows that Nick O'Malley did his job that night, and we stand by that. He did what every police officer would do: defend their partner and make sure that he or she goes home at the end of the night.
Did nothing wrong.
Yeah. And to think or to listen to this crap that's being peddled out there, he did get treated differently because he's a police officer. Because we won't take a gangbanger off the street like they did to Nick O'Malley. We won't go knock their door in the middle of the morning and take them out of their home like they did to Nick O'Malley. They get chance after chance after chance, special treatment, turn yourself in, you name it, they get it. But a police officer, no, they want to burn him at the stake and drag him out of his house.
Well, you got to appreciate Attorney Yannetti reminding people, like, again, hello, this is a suspect with a history of violence who punched a woman in the face, punched a single mom in the face, ripped her out of her car, stole her car, drives the car off. When he gets caught in the car, does he listen? Does he comply? Does he adhere to legal lawful instructions? Does he shut the car off? Does he roll down his window? He does nothing except to try to run over police officers. And we're supposed to just, forget all that, Larry?
Well, that's just it. We talk about de-escalation and we talk about verbal commands. And when are we really going to talk about compliance? We've been de-escalating since before you and I came on the job. It's not a fancy new word or thought process. Help us help you. You get lawful commands, please follow the lawful commands. If not, unfortunately, people get hurt.
Well, when you mess with the police, when you choose defiance over compliance, or in this guy's case, violence over compliance, what do you think is going to happen when you put reasonable people in fear for their lives? Like, where is the compliance message? And isn't it funny, how the DA conveniently just kind of glosses and glazes over the fact that, again, compliance would have made all the difference in this case?
Yeah, I'm kind of honestly, Jamie, I'm kind of sick about the DA and sick of complaining about them. And then it only makes you feel worse when you standing in the courtroom with close to 100 police officers, ones that couldn't get into the courtroom because there were so many that day, only to listen to that rubbish and pretend that it's something that it wasn't.
Well, let's take me back to that day. I mean, it's last week, Larry, but set the scene and outside the courthouse, inside, and then coming back out. But how important was it for our guys and girls to show up the way that they did?
Super important. Probably one of the most important things that we can do for our members and for their families, which I wanted to say was more important, but we know it's not when it's concerning our member who's facing these kind of allegations. But for the member in their family, super important to see that their own brothers and sisters are there supporting them, taking time out of their life, taking time out of their personal family time that day to be there in support of Nick and his family. So it means the world. Can't thank everybody enough for being there.
In the family itself, I mean, for you to stand there shoulder to shoulder. And I'm sure you know how important it is because you're the leader of this organization and you need to stand up for your guys and girls when you see something wrong. But I mean, how important was it for you? You've done it once, now twice. You find the right words, Larry. But at the end of the day, our guys and girls feel supported. But when you say with such conviction, this guy did nothing wrong and any police officer would do the same. How important is it for you to be the guy to say those words? And how much did it mean to Nick O'Malley and his family?
Well, they had some really nice personal statements and conversation with me, which I'll keep personal. So I appreciate their sentiments. But more importantly, that is my job. And that's the job of the leadership. And the whole leadership team was there. We stood shoulder to shoulder with them. And I said the things that are truthful. I said the things that every police officer knows and expects to hear from their leadership in their union to make sure that we're laser focused as we're telling the general public that Nick O'Malley did what a police officer should do. Protect himself, protect his partner, protect the innocent, and go home at the end of their shift. And unfortunately, when you have a bad guy that's not complying, we have this tragic outcome. We hope we don't ever see it again, but the reality is police officers are faced with life and death situations
all the time.
Yep. And this is just one that unfortunately there was no compliance, and the end result for that person's family is tragic.
Well, and of course, a life is lost. Yeah, it's a tragedy, no doubt about it. Okay, but again, the one thing that would have changed the outcome is if this kid had done the right thing and done what he was told and showed compliance. That to me, and you've said it time and time again, is one of the biggest things. But you know what, too? People don't relate to what we do. It's tough to put yourself in the shoes of a police officer unless you've actually done the work. And there seems to be such a significant level of disconnect for people to point, be like, hey, the guy should have just, they should let him go. And the suspect was just trying to do a 3-point turn and that never should have happened. And I can't see how those guys would have been in fear for their lives. It's like, talking about the disconnect. Being judged by those who don't know what it's like to be in that position.
It's the selling of the bill of goods by the DAs. He's up there. Well, he's just making a 3-point turn. Cut the shit.
Just trying to leave the scene.
Stop trying it in the press.
Yep.
Let's have a trial. Let's show the video. Let's get the jury in there. Let's exonerate Nick O'Malley and stop the bull.
Want to say too?
Probably can't say that.
No, Craig, we can say that, right? Okay, yeah, no, it's a podcast. We can say bullshit. You and I had an issue, and I know a couple of people reached out to me. Obviously, media take liberties with their descriptions of what went on. One of the media outlets referred to Nick O'Malley as a disgraced police officer. I know that pissed me off and pissed you off, so much so that we made a call to the reporter and asked her about the word choice, and our beef being like, what do you mean he's disgraced? He's wronged. He's maligned. He's been unfairly charged. But for a media outlet to refer to him as a disgraced police officer, no, she couldn't have been more wrong, but she also fixed it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is I don't want to out her and give her a name that people can look it up if they want because they'll know the article. But the reporter was more than understanding. So we're going to give that report. Actually, you know what? It's Leah Skeens. There's no reason.
We should give her some kudos.
Leah Skeens was great. She took our call. She understood what our gripe was and changed it and made it sound, I guess I'll say, more accurate for her reporting. But she took out the disgrace piece because Nick O'Malley is not disgraced. Nick O'Malley did his job and made sure that him and his partner went home at the end of the tour.
I mean, he's not a Proctor or a Paul Downey or some other police officers who've done some bad stuff. This is a guy who did his job and is being treated in a way that suggests he didn't. So, yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And again, she made the change. It meant a lot. People get upset, obviously, with some of the coverage. But again, let's give her kudos. Leah Skeens, she took the call. She heard the concern. She said, you know what, you're right. I don't know why I used that particular word, but it certainly influences the coverage. Yeah. And it infers that, hey, this is a guy who did something wrong, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, and she was very good about it. So here's an opportunity to say that a reporter
say thank you.
Yeah, say thank you. Ask her to change it. She did. She understood. So thank you, Leah. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Leah. Appreciate you taking the call from both of us. All right, two other things I want to hit on real quick, and we've heard it time and time again mentioned. Mental health, Larry, is that an excuse for bad behavior? I keep hearing about this kid. Well, he's mentally.
Never. Never.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse for bad behavior. Is it a reality? Are there people suffering with mental health issues and do bad things to others? Sure, it does. But it is not an excuse. It's not an excuse that we can exonerate that type of behavior and noncompliance and then prosecute, and condemn before we even get to the trial the actions of a police officer who made a split-second decision to save a life.
Yeah. It might explain it. Like you just said, it certainly doesn't excuse it. Yeah. The other big thing, and it's the hard truth, the DA certainly doesn't want to utter and say, but the person at the end of the day most responsible for the suspect's death in this case is the suspect himself. Why is that so tough to say? Why are we afraid to state the obvious?
Well, I find that very interesting. I see a lot of the things that are coming out of the DA's mouth or that of the people that work for him. They're skewed. They talk about wanting to bring to justice to get security and closure for the victim. Who's the victim? I hope he's talking about the mother that got punched in the face. Well, I hope he's talking about Nick O'Malley and his partner being victimized by the guy trying to run them over with the car or just not having a concern of trying to run them over.
That leads to one of my questions here, buddy.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, there was the invitation-only community meeting, that super transparent community meeting, but only invitation only. So a lot of people, a lot of elected officials who were invited, there were over 50 people in the room. And at one point, we're told Kevin Hayden spoke of a need to get justice for the victim's family. And at which point an elected official asked, what family? Are you talking about the victim's family? Are you talking about the police officer's family? Or are you talking about the woman who got punched in the face and left in the street and had her car stolen? Who's the victim's family? Because clearly there's a big difference of opinion on that as to who was ultimately victimized.
Yeah, because you mentioned Nick O'Malley and his family. They're clearly victimized on this. I noticed that there was a physician or a doctor, if that's more appropriate, who was allowed to turn himself in to the DA to answer to charges, but not Nick O'Malley. Yeah. You know why? Because Nick O'Malley's a police officer. Right. And because the DA's office made a premeditated decision already that Nick was guilty. So they're going to go embarrass him, embarrass his family, and treat him differently because of the profession that he serves.
What's going to help your campaign, DA Hayden? I know. Let's arrest a police officer 8 days after an incident without the benefit of a grand jury. It is so disgustingly political. It's painful that this guy is putting this good kid and his wife and his 2 young kids through this. And there's a reason we're angry and outraged.
Yeah. We should probably move on from that topic. That's
all right. Well, no, I mean, and again, I just would quickly say, how important is it for us to support, and we'll leave it at this question, how important is this support for the family, for them to see the stuff that you've said and things we've been doing? Just how, and what is it meant to the family, again, real quick?
Again, it means the world to them, short and sweet. Because if their union's not there for them and their brothers and sisters in blue are not there from them, then who else could you expect?
Yep.
So
couldn't agree. So yeah, Nick, we got you back, buddy. I'm sure he certainly felt that last week outside Suffolk Superior Court. All right, switching gears, buddy. World Cup coming to Boston. This is on the heels of cutting. We just cut the department cut overtime by 30%.
Yeah, let's continue to do more with less. Let's continue to say we're one of the safest major cities in the country, but we're going to take, 33% of our police officers off the street and pretend that we can make Boston just as safe as it's always been.
2 million fans are coming to our city from around the globe, from Haiti to England to Scotland to France, and we've got fewer cops out in the street than more.
Well, the nickel diamond is what they're doing. I know we put some stuff out on our social media. We'll continue to talk to the police commissioner and the superintendent's office, and they're just trying to reassure us. No, they're just they're staffing appropriately and they're keeping everybody safe. Cut it out. Well, all we got to do is look at past baton orders, and we could see that their own minimum staffing that they continue to lie and say they don't have, yet they send it out in emails about minimum staffing. Yep. They've cut the complement of officers.
What kind of cut?
In some stations by 30%.
So what is that? Give me the numbers. So if you got a shift on...
I think it's better we don't give the numbers.
Okay.
And the reason being is if we give numbers publicly, and God forbid there's some lunatic that's listening to this that wants to attack a police station like we've seen in other parts of the country, we don't want to put our members in any more jeopardy than they may already be in just answering a call.
Respectfully, I think they already are. because it's out there that they've cut overtime by 30%. So
Yeah.
we don't have to give numbers, but suffice to say, like you said, they're asking guys and girls to do more with less, and that's just a recipe for problems. No question about it.
And they wonder why people will get hurt or be sick or can't report after their 19th tour in a row. It's just ridiculous.
But if you want to reduce overtime, and you've said it a million times, you hire more officers. Then you hire more officers. There's no need for the overtime. But they haven't hired more guys and girls, and they're still reducing overtime, which means fewer officers. And again,
we'll be having a retirement party for another approximately 100 officers come this fall. And, I think we had a class that just graduated a few months back with 43 people. So we're negative 63. Oh, and by the way, they promoted, a dozen more sergeants. So we're negative. Let me check my math real quick. 73, 75. And don't forget, how many detectives recently? I don't know.
All right.
Just put more work on the back of the men and women in uniform that actually answer the calls, that do the walk-in beats, that issue the tickets, that make the arrests, that go to court. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the bosses and detectives aren't doing their job. I'm just saying you can't continue to get more from less. You can't.
Right.
You can't squeeze the stone and get water, but these folks are trying.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. All right, we're gonna transition or segue quickly. Contract talk. We're always talking about ways to increase benefits and pay for our membership, but the contract that we're in now officially expires July 1. Am I right about that?
June 30th, but
June 30th. I know there's always folks talking to you about things that they want, but what are your thoughts going into negotiations? Is there a thing or two that you want to hammer home? I know there's some things I'd love to see, but what do you envision?
Well, it's always about finances.
It's money.
I mean, it's always about money. Hey, we've been over this before. Every now and then we'll get somebody that says, "Oh, gee, is it about money?" Yes, it is. It's about putting food on the table, paying the mortgage, paying the car payment. Maybe your kids are in private school, maybe they're in college. But yes, it's always about money. So money's first and foremost.
That's your biggest job as the union president, to get folks paid.
Yes,
I'm here to make sure
idea.
you get paid and you're valued. So folks should know that.
Yep. Second thing is time off. We did a really good job last time around about getting a mental health and wellness half hour put in the contract. We got to get the other half hour that the state police rightfully enjoy right now, because our men and women need it. We need to do something about being ordered in on their days off. Either I hate to say extra compensation because it makes me sound like that greedy union president, but how about just don't order them in on their second day off? Yep. How about hiring a couple of hundred more police officers in a shorter period of time, not after 100 retire? So there are ways to do this to make the job safer and to make the lives, the personal lives of the membership better for them and their family. It just, I don't know, it takes courage. It takes leadership.
But speaking of which, the health and wellness is an issue that's important to you. The free gyms, the half-hour workout, that doesn't happen without you making that case at the table. At the negotiating table, but here we are with fewer officers expected to do more. So that wonderful benefit where guys get to work out for a half hour, they're not really getting a chance to work out because...
Or read a book, or just take a break, or just go sit in the sun. How about a little mental health and clarity time after you just answered 12 radio calls for the first 4 hours of your shift and you went from one hyper vigilant situation to another? How about just getting a little bit of brain rest? Bring your adrenaline down, bring your blood pressure down,
But cutting manpower makes it tougher for folks to take advantage of.
So anyway, that's a very long answer between you and I and our back and forth. But money, wages, extra benefits for members and their family, and then, of course, whatever the members end up voting on in the survey. Yep. So the survey should be out sometime the end of July. We closed it a couple of weeks back. We reported that to the House of Reps. We will now go over them, enter it into the same online platform, SurveyMonkey, that we used before, which is a locked platform. You only get to vote once. And please, I urge the members to vote. If you don't vote and you don't take part in the collective bargaining process, then you probably shouldn't ask your rep, myself, or the leadership team why we did or did not get something. If you are not part of the process, then you are part of the problem.
Yeah. Amen to that. Last thing, we'll end on this. Top Cop Award, Larry. We were in D.C. last month. Shout out to Police Officer Jose Valenzuela, recognized for his heroic action taken inside a Chick-fil-A last March, confronting an armed suspect intent on trying to kill people inside that restaurant. Jose off duty, certainly deserving of the honor, emblematic of the courage and conviction of our guys and girls. NAPO, as people should know if they don't know, that's our national police union. They put on a great show, but of course, we have to nominate the officers. They make the decision. But how about a shout out to Jose Valenzuela that night?
Yeah, well deserved. I mean, we all know he saved lives. Like that. That's what police officers do. And he was off duty and saved some lives. And he was nationally recognized for it. I couldn't be more proud of myself and obviously our team that came into agreement to nominate him and some other officers who did some heroic work from Area B2.
Yep.
Also involved in discharges and shootings. But unfortunately, not everybody can be chosen.
Yeah, not everybody gets the award.
Yep. We can honor them. So I'm going to go into my next piece. Kudos to him, of course, for getting the national award. We're extremely happy and proud to be the ones to put him up and have him win. Second, the BPPA, our union, recognized our own officers. Yep. Some of those officers that I'm referring to from Area B, their rep put them up. Our award committee chose them. They come down with their families. We had some good interaction. The union proudly gave them an award that hopefully benefits them and their family and makes them a little bit happier and gives them some more pride
to walk.
Valued. Yeah, just some more pride walking out the door, to feel valued, to let them know
everybody wants to know, hey, you're doing a good job and people are paying attention. And Larry, I think that's a great idea to do those awards, and you can't over or underestimate the importance and value of those. All right, that's about it for the show. Any last things? You usually take an opportunity to thank the hardworking men and women of the BPPA and the department. So I'm going to hand it over to you before we say goodbye.
Thanks, buddy. More, I do want to touch on this FIFA World Cup 250th anniversary. Going to be an awful lot of overtime out there, a lot of forcing at times where officers don't want to be forced. They want to go home for that cookout, that graduation party, and you're not going to get to go. So, all I can do is thank you for being the professional that you are, tell you to stay safe, do your job, go home at the end of your tour, you and your partner. And when you can, spend as much time as possible with your family. They're only young ones. So.
Yeah, time moves fast for sure. All right, that's the show. As always, thanks for tuning in and listening, everybody. Till next time, stay safe out there. And again, thanks for listening to Answering the Call, the BPPA official podcast. Have a good day, everybody.
Don't forget Craig.
Oh, I got to say thank you to our show producer, Craig Acone. Yeah, I actually pronounced it. Craig's a hell of a guy. And again, thank you for listening. Have a great day, everybody.